Beneath London, under the streets, under the buildings, under the bridges, and even beneath the River Thames, engineers built one of the most important tunnels in modern Britain. But this was not a subway, it was not a road tunnel, it was not built for passengers, or cars, or trains. It was a giant underground sewer, designed to capture sewage overflows before they reached the Thames. Above ground, London kept moving. Traffic crossed the bridges, trains ran through the city, boats moved along the river. Millions of people walked above a construction project they could barely see. But deep below the surface, tunnel boring machines were carving through the ground, workers were building huge underground shafts, and a new hidden system was taking shape beneath one of the world's most historic cities. For more than a century, London's old sewer system helped protect the city. But as London grew, heavy rain could overwhelm it, pushing wastewater toward the river that runs through the heart of the capital. So engineers built a hidden super sewer, a 25-kilometer tunnel beneath London, designed to capture, store, and transfer sewage overflow away for treatment. This is how London built a hidden super sewer under the Thames. London is famous for what people see above ground: Tower Bridge, Big Ben, the bridges across the Thames, the embankments beside the river, the railways, streets, stations, offices, and historic buildings that define the city. But beneath that visible London is another city entirely. A hidden world of pipes, sewers, rail tunnels, utility lines, foundations, water mains, power cables, and buried infrastructure. Most people never see it, but every modern city depends on it. The Thames Tideway Tunnel was built inside this invisible layer. It is London's new super sewer, a massive storage and transfer tunnel running deep beneath the city, largely following the River Thames from west to east. The main tunnel is 25 kilometers long. It is 7.2 meters in diameter. It runs from about 31 meters below the surface in the west to around 66 meters deep near Abbey Mills pumping station in the east. Its job is simple but critical. It is designed to intercept sewage overflows, hold them inside a deep tunnel, and transfer them away for treatment instead of allowing them to spill into the river. From the surface, the finished tunnel almost disappears, but during heavy rain, it becomes one of the most important systems in London. To understand why, you have to understand the problem beneath the streets. Much of London's historic sewer network is a combined system. That means the same pipes can carry wastewater from homes and businesses, and rainwater from streets, roofs, and paved surfaces. In dry weather, the system can move wastewater toward treatment. But when heavy rain hits the city, stormwater rushes into the same network. The pipes begin to fill, the flow increases, the pressure builds, and when the system becomes overloaded, combined sewer overflows can release untreated sewage into the River Thames. These overflow points were originally designed as a safety valve. They helped prevent sewage from backing up into streets, homes, and buildings. But London changed. The city grew larger, the population increased. More roads, roofs, and paved surfaces changed how rain moved across the city, and a system built for an earlier London was forced to handle a modern one. The problem was not that London had no sewer system. The problem was that London had outgrown the system beneath it. The old Victorian sewers were a major engineering achievement. They transformed public health. They moved waste away from streets and homes. They helped make the modern city possible. For their time, they were extraordinary. But they were built for a different city, a smaller city, a less dense city, a city with different demands, different rainfall behavior, and far less pressure on its underground systems. The Thames Tideway Tunnel was not built to erase that history. It was built to extend it. The old sewers once helped save London. Now a new tunnel had to help protect the river. The new tunnel works like a storm buffer beneath the city. During normal conditions, London's existing sewer network continues doing its job. But during heavy rain, when overflow points would normally release into the Thames, the new system intercepts that flow. Instead of spilling directly into the river, the overflow drops down into the deep tunnel. There, it can be stored temporarily, then transferred through the wider system for treatment. London did not solve its sewage problem above ground. It solved it deep beneath the river. But building a giant tunnel beneath London was never going to be easy. This is one of the busiest, oldest, and most complicated urban environments in the world. Above the route were homes, roads, railways, bridges, historic buildings, offices, utility corridors, and the River Thames itself. Below the streets, the ground was already crowded. Existing sewers, water mains, tube tunnels, rail tunnels, Power cables, foundations, basements, old structures, and layers of infrastructure built across centuries. Engineers could not simply dig a trench through London. They could not open the city from west to east. They had to build from selected sites, go deep underground, and keep London moving above. That was the central challenge. The tunnel was not being built under empty land. It was being built under London. The project used 24 sites across the city, many of them close to the River Thames. From above, these sites looked like temporary construction zones beside the river, inside neighborhoods, or near existing sewer infrastructure. But below them, they became gateways into the underground project. The most important gateways were deep shafts. These shafts were vertical doorways into the ground. They allowed workers to reach tunnel level. They allowed machines and equipment to be lowered underground. They allowed concrete tunnel segments to be delivered. They allowed excavated material to be removed. And later, many of these shafts became part of the working sewer system itself. Building a shaft in a dense city is a project before the project. First, engineers had to secure the site. Then they had to build a stable circular wall deep into the ground. Then excavation could begin. Soil and material were removed, level by level. Cranes lifted loads from the shaft. Temporary works held the structure. Concrete formed permanent walls. Workers operated at depth, while the surface above remained part of a living city. Everything had to be planned. Access, noise, traffic, nearby buildings, river conditions, existing utilities, safety, spoil removal, material deliveries, and the constant challenge of working in limited space. In many locations, the River Thames was not only the reason for the project, it also helped build it. The project used the river as a logistics route, moving materials and excavated spoil by barge where possible. That reduced pressure on London's roads. The Thames became both the river being protected and one of the routes that helped make the protection possible. Once shafts were ready, the tunnel boring machines could begin their work. The Thames Tideway project used 6 tunnel boring machines in total. 4 machines excavated the main tunnel: Rachel, Millicent, Ursula, and Selena. 2 smaller machines excavated connection tunnels: Charlotte and Annie. These machines were not just digging holes, they were underground factories. At the front, a rotating cutter head excavated the ground. Behind the cutter head, a shield protected the working area. Excavated material was moved away. Concrete segments were brought forward. And behind the machine, ring by ring, the tunnel lining was assembled. A TBM does not leave an empty hole behind. It builds the tunnel as it advances. Each concrete segment forms part of a ring. Each ring connects to the next. Together, they create the circular concrete lining of the tunnel. As the cutter head moves forward, the finished tunnel grows behind it. Inside the tunnel, logistics become a system of their own. Concrete segments must arrive at the right time. Excavated material must move out. Ventilation must keep air moving. Power must feed the machine. Survey systems must keep the tunnel online. Workers must access the machine safely. And progress must continue deep below a city that cannot stop. Above ground, London kept functioning. Cars crossed bridges. People walked along the Thames. Trains moved through stations. Offices opened. Tourists photographed landmarks. But far below, giant machines were carving a new hidden river for wastewater. That contrast is what makes the Thames Tideway Tunnel extraordinary. The city above could not stop, so the engineering had to happen below. But digging the main tunnel was only one part of the project. A giant tunnel is not useful simply because it is large. It is useful only if it connects to the right places. The Thames Tideway Tunnel had to connect with London's existing sewer network, especially the overflow points where wastewater could reach the river during heavy rain. This was one of the most important engineering tasks in the entire project. At key locations along the Thames, engineers built interception structures. They built connection tunnels. They built drop shafts. They created routes that could take overflow from the old sewer level and send it down into the deep super sewer. The tunnel was not useful because it was big. It was useful because it connected to the exact places where London overflowed. When heavy rain fills the combined sewer network, the old overflow route no longer has to be the river. Instead, the flow can be intercepted. It can drop down a shaft. It can enter a connection tunnel. It can reach the main Thames Tideway Tunnel. And from there, it can be stored and transferred through the wider system. This is the heart of the project. Old infrastructure above, new infrastructure below, a historic sewer system connected to a modern underground buffer. The Thames Tideway Tunnel is not a replacement for London's old sewers. It is a new layer added beneath them, a deep tunnel designed to work when the older network comes under pressure. During dry weather, the existing system continues to operate normally. But when rain hits London hard, the new super sewer becomes active. Stormwater and wastewater fill the network. Overflow is intercepted before it reaches the Thames. The flow drops into the deep tunnel. The tunnel stores it temporarily. Then the system transfers it eastward toward treatment. This is storage and transfer at city scale. The tunnel is like a hidden reservoir beneath London, but instead of storing clean water, it stores storm sewage overflow long enough to keep it out of the river. Then it moves that flow toward treatment infrastructure. That is why the project is designed to reduce combined sewer overflows in a typical year by about 95%. It does not mean the Thames has no other environmental challenges. It does not mean every pollution problem disappears. But it does mean one of the biggest sources of sewage overflow into the tidal Thames is dramatically reduced. The Thames Tideway Tunnel also connects with the Lee Tunnel. The Lee Tunnel is about 7 kilometers long and has been operating since 2016. Together, the Thames Tideway Tunnel and the Lee Tunnel form the London Tideway Tunnel system. This combined system has a capacity of about 1.6 million cubic meters. Captured flow can be moved through the network toward treatment infrastructure, including Beckton Sewage Treatment Works. That makes the super sewer more than one pipe. It is a connected system. The Thames Tideway Tunnel, the Lee Tunnel, existing combined sewers, new shafts, connection tunnels, interception structures, treatment works, monitoring systems, and the tidal Thames above it all. Every part has to work together. That is what makes this project so important. It is not just a tunnel project. It is system engineering. It is urban engineering. It is environmental engineering. And it had to be built inside one of the most complicated cities on Earth. Construction required years of planning and execution. Preparatory work began in 2015. Main construction began in 2016. Across London, sites were opened. Shafts were excavated. TBMs were launched. Concrete rings were installed. Connection tunnels were driven. Overflow structures were built. Systems were tested. And piece by piece, the hidden network came together beneath the city. The project cost about £4.6 billion. By February 2025, the tunnel was fully connected and operational, bringing the new system online to protect the tidal Thames. From the outside, the completed project is almost invisible. London still looks like London. The river still bends through the city. The bridges still cross it. The skyline still rises above it. But below the surface, the city has a new hidden layer of protection. A tunnel wide enough to carry huge storm flows. A route deep enough to pass beneath the dense urban fabric. A system connected to the overflow points that once sent sewage toward the river. And a new underground buffer built for a modern London. The Thames Tideway Tunnel is not glamorous in the way a bridge or skyscraper is glamorous. It is a sewer tunnel, and that is exactly why it matters. A city can be famous for its landmarks, but it survives because of its systems. Water systems, drainage systems, sewer systems, treatment systems, transport systems, power systems, networks that most people never see, but everyone depends on. London did not build this tunnel to be seen. It built it to work. It built it so that when rain falls over the city, overflow can be captured before it reaches the river. It built it so old infrastructure could keep working, with a new layer of protection beneath it. It built it so the Thames could be protected by engineering hidden below the surface. That is the real achievement of the Thames Tideway Tunnel. Not just the length, not just the diameter, not just the machines, not just the shafts. The achievement is that London upgraded one of its most important systems without tearing the city apart. Above ground, London remains a city of bridges, towers, streets, stations, and river views. But below the river, a hidden super sewer now carries the burden of the city above it. The most important engineering in a city is not always the part people can see. Sometimes, it is the tunnel below the water, the shaft below the street, the connection behind an old sewer, the flow moving silently toward treatment, and the system that only becomes visible when it fails. This is where tunnel engineering meets environmental protection, and where London's future is protected by a hidden super sewer beneath the Thames.